That was an extremely strong reaction from Mikel Arteta there. 15 points has to hurt, as you do, suggesting the players aren't hurt by it, or?
You know, you could see he's obviously had a tough week, and let's face it, he's had a very tough season with what's happening with what people say about him, you know, to win a trophy, trying to win a trophy. You know, if we do get something off from Newcastle and beat Southampton, it'd be the third season on the spin that we finished second. And, you know, judging by that interview, it just felt to me like he's just, with everything that's happened up to this point, that first half and how slack and how lax it was, it's not acceptable for him. His standards are high, even though we're out of everything, apart from the Champions League. You know, he wants to see them finish strong. He didn't make excuses about the injuries, didn't make excuses about the sending offs. He was just disappointed in the way that they started, and this is why he's like he is. This is why I'm delighted that he's the manager, because he will never be satisfied. He won't take that kind of performance in the first half, and I'm sure he'll let them know. And what I'm hoping, Steve, is that the summer, because we missed it out the last summer, is that he makes the kind of signings that will come in and reiterate everything what he wants from his team, whether it's goal-scoring players, defensive players, whoever it is. Ideally, we can get some goal-scoring players, but he just needs to now, him and Andrea Berta, bring in the kind of players that can really take him to that next place, because what he was saying about that first 20 minutes sounds to me like he's just absolutely fuming. I've not seen him that bad in an interview before in respect of how angry he was. He was steaming.
Certain Champions League. I tell you what, Wright, it sets up next Sunday when you and I will be in these seats for Arsenal, Newcastle, knowing that if they get over the line, that's it, with a game to spare. Yeah,
because there was a time, especially in the first half of this one, Steve, where I was very worried about the physical state and the mental state of the team. I mentioned the tough week that they've had. Must be very tough for them then to come into this game. You could see they weren't quite themselves. The amount of spaces that was left, and obviously Liverpool going 2 up. But I think at half-time, like I mentioned, he needs to get them going, because this could be embarrassing otherwise. And they did it again. They showed remarkable grit again, and going into that mental reserve, what they did, and pulled it back out of fire. Because I think the Newcastle game is going to be a tough game. They're very buoyant up there at the moment. They've got great momentum. It'll be a tough one to go up there and get anything. But going up there now, knowing that you only need a point there maybe, and then you've got Southampton, which we're hoping that they probably beat, it's a lot easier. They do need a little bit of a break in respect to games for me in what they've had to achieve over the last few weeks. So that was a good result in the end, Steve, I think, going to Newcastle, like you say.
Yeah, because they are running on empty. We saw Trossard pull his hamstring. Marino is obviously now suspended as well for the Newcastle game. It's all hands to the pump just to get over the line.
It is, and one of the things that's quite annoying to hear is you don't really hear the manager talking about the injuries too many times, but people talking about Arsenal regressing this season, and yeah, we have. I think from a points tally, we've regressed from scoring goals as well. You have to say we have regressed in the way we've played, but you know, the points tally isn't the same. But when you look at the injuries, you have to see that has made a major dent in what Arsenal are trying to do this season. And still, Arsenal are still fighting for second right at the end of the season, going deep into the Champions League. They have to take something in respects of the way that those players who have been fit have tried their very best to get there, and unfortunately, it was just too much in the end. You can see our bench. Our bench, you can see there's nothing coming off the bench. There's nothing come off the bench for a couple of months now in respects of someone come on and change the game. So I think they've done unbelievably with what they've ended up with in respects of a squad.
Yeah, Michael, to put it into context, when you have such a low like they did in the week, not getting the better of Paris Saint-Germain, and the physical demands today to go away to that atmosphere and the home of the champions who could play with freedom, 2 down, to get something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The physical demands are great, obviously mental ones as well. But I think when you get to this stage of the season, you know, you're not necessarily playing against lesser teams whereby you might go 2-3-0 up, and really you only have to push yourself for 50, 60 minutes to get 3-0 up. And then you can coast. The next day, you don't really feel the effects. When you're playing against, you know, the likes of Paris Saint-Germain or Liverpool, you're having to push yourself for the whole 90 minutes. They're tough, really tough games. So, and they're coming thick and fast. But, you know, listen, if they finish second in the league, semi-finals of the Champions League, I know Arsenal fans might be a little bit disappointed, but it's a very, very solid season.
Brilliant.
Indeed. OK, let's speak to one of their heroes in that comeback at Anfield, Gabriel Martinelli, who got things going after 88 seconds of that second half. Gabby, well done for coming out and speaking to us and after that result. I mean, what a start you gave your team at the start of the second half. What was the message at half-time?
Hello guys. That we needed to do better in the second half, and yeah, we started pretty well with the goal. We knew that we could beat them. Of course, we didn't start the first half well, but at half-time we talked and we just went to the second half with a different mentality, and yeah, we did it. Of course, we wanted to win the game, but we take the point here. It's never easy to come here and play against them.
You know, it's 8.5 years since anyone did that from Liverpool at Anfield when there were 2 goals to the good. So well done. But how much did you have to dig deep to get that comeback over the line?
I mean, it's never easy to come here and play against this team. We know how hard it is, but we know our qualities as well. We know what we can do. Of course, it's been a difficult week after the game against PSG. We got disappointed, but we have to move on, you know. And we came here with the mentality to win the game.
Gabby, how you doing, my friend? Unlucky this week, but fantastic today. I thought you was man of the match for us today. I just wanted to say, Gabby, in respect of your mental, how you feel mentally, going in at 2-0 down and then coming and getting a result. And again, we kind of need the result because of Newcastle. Where did that come from, Gabby? What was said at half-time? Was everybody shouting? What was it like in the dressing room?
Legend, you okay? It's always good to talk to you.
I love you, my friend.
I love you too. You know how it is to play for this football club. We never give up, and this is what we talked at halftime, that we couldn't play the same way that we did in the first half, that we could do better. We just stick together, and we did pretty well in the second half. In the beginning, we just scored the goal, and we just went for it.
Nice one.
Yeah, I thought Arsenal, fair play to them, second half. You know, you're thinking, I thought that could go on and be sort of 3-4.
They had to really dig deep there, didn't
Yeah, I mean, getting the early goal helps, of course it does, but Liverpool just took the foot off the pedal. But it must have took a lot considering what they've been through in the last couple of weeks. I mean, they've lost 3 games in a row. Then coming to Anfield, 2-0 down at half-time to get something out of it. And if it would have been 11v11, you know, I'm not sure the exact time that Moreno got sent off, but I think if it would have been 11v11, I think Arsenal probably would have looked a more likely team going forward to actually want to win the game.
79th minute.
Thanks, Dave.
I didn't want to come in, but I didn't want to interject.
Do you agree? Were they the more likely side at that stage?
Yeah, I think there was growing confidence in that second half. I think the tactical tweak, putting Martinelli down the centre, Trossard a bit more to the left, and they just grew in confidence, you know. I think you don't want the season to fizzle out, and they made sure that didn't happen. I mean, you don't want to be embarrassed here. I mean, it's like Jamie said against PSG, it was a tough one to take, so they was looking for reaction. Didn't get in the first half, but in the second half they did.
Certainly a really good start for Liverpool. Arsenal seem to have a lot of the early possession